everybody to the Last Key Game Show. We are doing episode 9. Let me introduce our game hosts. Of course, I am, and Coach Steve Toad, that's myself, the founder of Conscious Revolution Media. And our theme for today is the Sausage Party, the movie, and transhumanism and the connection between the two. Welcome to the show, I'm.
Thanks.
Now this theme just came together in the last I guess in the last in the last week actually, and I just put the two together actually just this morning. So I'm looking for a very interesting show. So let's begin with the movie The Sausage Party. So I sent you an email I think a while back telling you that I went to see the movie and there's a lot of buzz around it. I don't know if you heard about the movie?
I don't know anything about it.
Okay, so so it is extremely creative. It is a cartoon, and it's a cartoon for adults, and so it's rated R, and it's very, very raunchy. It's full of sex. It's full of it's basically the movie takes place, and I don't want to ruin this for everybody, so I'm not gonna say what the end is or anything like that. But it takes place in a grocery store, and the vegetables and all the condiments become like human-like. And the movie is about the Matrix, basically, and it's played by these cartoon characters. And the creativity is outrageous. So there's a whole spiritual message underneath the movie, but because it's so funny and so entertaining, I suspect that a lot of people won't get the spiritual message, but that's okay. And so there's a group of condiments that are hidden in the store, and from everybody, nobody really knows that they exist. And they're the ones that basically put out this message that to the rest of the condiments and to the vegetables that the humans are gods, and they come and they're gonna pick you, and when they pick you and take you out of the store, then basically that's your salvation, and you're gonna be happy forever. And every day in the morning they start. So they're being basically brainwashed. Everybody's being brainwashed by these little well, not people, but condiments that are hidden from view. And what's interesting is when the movie starts, there's a lot of interesting things happening, and it's very sexual between the sausages and the buns. And eventually, within the first 10 minutes, the sausages and the buns get picked by a god who's a woman, and they get to be taken home. And they are so happy that they finally have arrived. And the woman, the god, picks up a potato and starts peeling it. And that's when the vegetables and the condiments realize that they've been lied to. Dude, this is so good. And
that's funny.
Hell breaks loose. So they escape and they go back, and they're trying to tell the truth. And I mean, this is what we've been talking about all along. And I'm going like, oh my God, how did Hollywood got this? I mean, it's like amazing. And so they're trying to tell the truth, and of course nobody believes believes them. It's absolutely hilarious. So I won't say any more about it, because if I do, I'm gonna ruin it for everybody. So I would highly recommend it to go see it. I think the first Friday of last week it made like 134 million. So it's extremely popular. I mean, people are going crazy over it. I suspect not because of the spiritual message. Actually, that's not even being talked about in the media. What's being talked about is the buzz is about the raunchiness, and that it's a rated R It's not for kids. They're talking about that and blah
Oh,
blah
that's
blah.
good. I see the positive in all of that because kids don't need this.
Uh-huh.
They don't need the hidden message. You could tell them straight. But the
Yeah.
adults, you got to lure them in with violence and sex.
Yeah. There's plenty of that.
And then you got to sneak in the truth without telling them.
Yeah. That's exactly what's happening. And that's when I sent you that email that, oh my God,
Yeah.
somehow Hollywood got a hold of your book.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing because we talked in another show about how they've been telling us over and over again, and I brought it all the way back to the movie of The Wizard of Oz, which originally was out way back. But there's also one called Logan's Run, I think. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's like it's almost exactly that. And there's a lottery, and you get picked for the lottery, and then because you won and you're so much set apart from all these other common people now, you're taken out of that situation. But nobody knows that when you're taken out of it, you're killed. You're
Wow.
taken out. You're literally taken out. But everybody there is thinking, wow, we won. Oh, I want to win. I want to win. I want to win the lottery, and they live their whole life like that. And this one guy, I guess his name was Logan, he ended up trying to escape because he figured it out that you don't win nothing. You're being taken out. There's nobody in that community above 30 years old because at that point they figured you're useless. So we're going to let you win and then take you out. It's funny because there's so many movies that tell us not what you would call the truth, but just to think. Think about what's coming out of your mouth. Think about what's going on in your head. Think about what you're aiming for every day. Because when you do, it's like you come to this point where it's like you've got to go down your rabbit hole, like Alice in Wonderland. You have to answer the questions. And even that movie is so funny because the Cheshire Cat, that's like everything everybody's doing all the time is like, well, where do you want to go? What direction do you want to go in? And she said, I don't know. And he says, well, then it doesn't matter. And that's really where everybody's at. We're going in a direction we're told to go. Get a good job, get a good education, get in our I don't know what it's called there, but it's like a retirement fund. Have a plan, work towards it. Everybody's working towards this. And then sometimes someone says, why? What am I doing? Is this what I want to do?
Yeah, we're just doing all these things because everybody else is doing them.
Yeah, and then somebody comes in, one of these vegetables comes back and tries to tell us the truth about what's out there, what's beyond this, and we just, crucify them.
Yeah. Yep. That is the movie. It's
and we take their story, we take their words, and then we twist it back into our words so that the story can remain the same.
Yeah, and nothing changes.
Yep.
Because we just do what's comfortable. We don't want anybody. It's just been so present for me because of the stuff that I'm doing in corporate world, that people love the illusion that they're living in. They just love it. They are so attached, and anybody that tries to be in their face about the illusion, they don't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that this isn't real.
The twist on that is we're also in it. We have our illusion or version of it, and we're trying to convince them that this one's better. And it's really just, again, that trap of opposites. So don't choose this side, choose my side.
Well, I don't know if I have that message though, because I don't know anything better. The only thing I don't have a better mousetrap by any means. I mean, I'm totally like present to that, like every day now. That I don't. If I'm gonna convince them of anything, the only thing I have really is just to have fun. That's all. That's all I know. And you know how I know this is I tested it with this. Not only because you told me, but because I've got the ping pong table in the office, and if you just try to think about this for a second, a ping pong table in a financial institution.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's the
That's like everybody's wearing shorts at the Wall Street. You know?
that's like the thing that absolutely doesn't fit. I mean, I couldn't have come up with a better thing that doesn't fit with the industry. It absolutely doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And it's working. And the way it's working is people are becoming more friendly. People are actually hanging out with each other. We have what's called, like in almost in any corporate, environment, we have the sales department, we have the operations department, and they're usually against, is the duality work, the duality thing. They usually don't understand each other. They're in a completely different world. And I see and I experience those people playing together and having fun.
Oh, cool.
And it's a very stressful environment. And I notice that people, when they get stressed out, they go and just play for 10 minutes and they feel so much better.
Oh, neat.
It's amazing. The effects are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, and it's the idea. So get this. The idea in the corporate environment, it's like, and we have those people within our corporate environment as well that think that when you go play ping pong, you're not working, and that's not right.
Oh, that's funny. When you were telling me this, I don't know why it was coming to my head, the story that I heard about Edison. I don't know how many patents this guy had, but his methodology, if he was really, really struggling on a idea, an invention, a solution for a specific issue of it or something like that, and he just couldn't figure it out, that's where he was like at the point of mental overwork. So his solution was he had like this steel ball or two or whatever, and he would hold them in his hand and he'd go and like lay down or sit down, preparing to sleep. Like he's supposed to be working, right? And this was his solution. He wanted to get his mind so relaxed that he got into that halfway between awake and sleep state. And that was the point of the steel balls. Like when you get to the point where you're just falling asleep, your hands let go. And then you'd hear the thud on the floor, and he would wake up with the solution because he drew it from that half here, half gone mental state.
Yeah, that's a really cool place to be.
Yeah, like that's where all the answers are. If you they're further, but then you're not conscious enough to bring them back.
So I mean, and these are just, this is part of this kind of consciousness laboratory that I've been working on for all these years, and this corporate environment stuff is part of this because I get to test things in real life to see how people respond.
And you didn't tell them they're your lab rats, right?
A few people know, but they kind of awake. They understand and they know what it is that I'm doing. But it's fascinating, and I'm learning about some people that they know a lot more about consciousness about themselves than what they let on. It's becoming more and more prevalent to me that people have these characters that they play. So they come into the corporate environment and they have a character. It's like they're acting.
That is so funny.
That's not who they are. You know, it's like the person that I report to, I played ping pong with them day before yesterday, Friday. And it's kind of cool. You know how cool it is to play ping pong with your boss? It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I did beat him 21-7, and it was so much fun, and because he beat me before twice, and I told him that his days are numbered, and and he's going to lose sooner or later. And so I just, and I'm playing a character as well, because I'm playing this character of no fear, and I can do anything character, and I will do anything, and I will break all records. That's my character.
That's
and and, and they already know it. I mean, that's how, and I have proven it, that now that's how they see me. And I created the character.
Yep.
Now they believe that that's who I am.
That is really neat. That I'm not going to say funny. You just said that word that I said at the beginning of the show before it was live, that I want to talk about that, because you just said again, and it brought it back to mind created. With the idea of frequencies, and in the enlightenment community, we all know raise your vibration, which means your frequency, and then we're all into these solfeggio frequencies and the right frequency for the right chakra. Anyway, the frequency is literally on and off, up and down, in and out, here and not here. So really, this character is being created multiple, like millions of times a second. That's why, like, the concept of aging or death just does not jive. If you understand all of this creationism, the frequencies, electronics, and everything, it just doesn't work, because you're constantly created. And that's even talked about in the, I guess, like you'd call it, the medical sciences. We are literally physically recreated every 2 years and 7 years, if you want to talk about the skeleton as well.
Yeah, totally. We are not the same,
but
being.
That's
physically.
Putting it into a time frame where our minds can accept that, because, oh, okay, maybe I can believe that. But you're literally recreated millions of times a second. That's a hertz is 1 a second. A kilohertz is 1,000 times a second. 100 kilohertz is 100,000 times a second. So when your brain starts to get this stuff, it's like, wow, how come aging or decay, dying of decay or whatever, works? It just doesn't make any technical sense. And that's funny that I just used that word technical, because you said something about transhumanism, and I really don't follow basically anything. I can't just up and go into like the Himalayan mountains. And there's a point to doing that. There's a huge point to doing that. You're removing yourself from everybody else's opinions, everybody else's vibrations, all the waves that are grouped into one small area, so that you can actually access yourself easier, more constantly, until it becomes the real thing for you. And then you can go back into the society and all that sort of stuff. So that's what I do. I haven't had a TV for over a decade. I don't have the desire for a TV for over a decade. I've watched maybe 4 films, and there was a point to it. Somebody said, oh, you should watch this because this, like you did with this one, and that the sausage something
party.
Yeah, sausage party. Because somebody shared that there's an actual point to it. So I would then go and watch it. But other than that, like, the last current movie that I've heard of before this one that caught my attention at all was Lucy. And that might be 3 or 4 years old. I don't know. So I'm doing this Himalayas thing right here. And this is not the Himalayas. This is not mountains. I'm doing the same concept. So I really don't have any clue what you're talking about when you're talking about transhumanism. It sounds like something I totally already get, but
well, and that's why I wanted to talk about it and how it's really connected. And I, and I got connected to it. Like I knew that this stuff existed, but I didn't realize that there is a whole movement that's behind it. And but before we get into that, I just want to say I did a show very recently, actually Tuesday, um, about how longevity is culturally learned.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it was with um, a psychologist out of Uruguay, and it was very, very interesting because he has done a lot of studies and followed a lot of studies, and it has proven that our notion about death is is socially created. It's a belief system, and it has nothing to do with reality. I mean, it is real because that's what people believe.
That I had to really bite my tongue to keep my mouth shut during that whole thing.
Ah!
Really, because you said our notion about, aging, death, decay, all that sort of stuff, and our notions come from our thoughts, which are in our consciousness. We say that it's a field of consciousness. And who would be good to talk about consciousness if you were looking for an expert? A psychologist. Isn't that just like what is reality? Thought.
But the reason I brought it up is because even a psychologist is now open to this idea that
they should have been the first.
Yeah, well, I know, but they are the last. But at least it's now being talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the open media, but at least on our network, it's being talked about.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
But there is a lot of that stuff going on all over the internet and all over YouTube, and I get it, and that's exactly how I stumbled into this guy Zoltan István, which is interesting. And what got me at first is his name, because it's a Hungarian name, and Zoltan is a first name, and so is István. And my name in Hungarian is István.
Oh,
and I'm going
cool.
like, okay, so who's this guy, Zoltan István? And I watched a video. He was interviewed by somebody, and so the long story short about this guy, before we get into transhumanism, he is one of the driving force in the movement of transhumanism, and his background is he worked for National Geographic for many years, and he covered quite a few wars, including Afghanistan. So he was sent over there to report, and I guess he saw a lot of dark stuff. And then he ended up working for the New York Times doing the same thing. He was writing a column for National Geographic for the New York Times. And he's been doing this for many years. And so people, kind of trust him, I guess, is what he said in the interview, is because he, he's been in the media for many, many years. And last year he decided to run for the president. And he was hoping that maybe some billionaire would get behind him and help him, because he believes in the current system. It takes $100 million to even begin to think that you can actually succeed at running. It's completely a money thing. Running
for presidency. It's media.
So he had some very interesting things to say, and I'm just going to say a couple of them, and people can look into him if they want to. But some of the interesting things is that he believes that a lot of these things that are not working, like politics, when things get to this point, we just need to start over. Like, just take the whole thing, forget about it, scratch it, and start over. You can't fix it. Like, you can't fix education, he believes. You just need to start over. So that got my attention. And so I looked more and more into, so what is transhumanism? So it's really about the idea that we can go beyond our current way of life incorporating with the incorporating technologies so that we can go beyond our current abilities. That's really what it is. And you know how interested I am in that, right? I want
Yeah.
to expand. It's not like I want to be a, Superman or anything like that, but all that stuff is becoming more and more possible. And so what this movement is about is using technology to be able to do those type of things. And so, I don't know, I kind of have the top 10 technologies here. And we can touch on a few. And I know that you'll be very interested as well because you like technology. So number 10, the top 10, number 10 is cryonics. And I don't know if you heard of it, but this has been around for a while, replacing your blood with nitrogen, and you basically become a glass. You basically are frozen, but you don't crystallize. So the notion is that this can be in place for as long as it takes, so that when you unfroze yourself, the technology will be available to repair whatever it is that's wrong. That's wrong. Um, uh, so I know what you're gonna say already, okay? But I just wanted to just touch on a few things because this will make you think. And some of these, like virtual reality, is number 9. And if you think about where we're going with virtual reality, and I stumbled into a
Yeah.
program that's exactly like what you were talking to me about, and I was like totally amazed.
Yeah.
So
That
there
was
is this,
Salvo, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
there's this software available now. I guess it's been released where there's no two program like it because it completely depends on how you play it and what decisions and choices you make. So, and when I saw that, and I actually watched it for a while, and I'm going like, this is crazy. This is crazy. It's like it's completely dependent on the player of the game,
Yeah.
which is what life is.
Yep.
So that technology that you talked to me about is already there. It's
Yeah. It's
available.
definitely already. We're using it.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah. Well, yeah, of course.
Yep.
In more ways than one.
Yeah. And it is
So
completely dependent on the player.
so I see a collision here sooner or later.
Yeah.
Okay. So gene therapy, that's interesting. That's number 8. I mean, yeah,
What is that?
gene gene therapy, where you can actually take the bad genes out of a human being and replace them with good genes.
Oh.
Um, so and doing it at birth. I mean, yeah,
Mm,
interesting.
before they have
So
a choice.
yeah,
Get them before they can choose.
yeah. And then number 7 is space colonization, and I guess the reason why that's around is because a lot of these technologies that we're talking about is going to get us to a place where we won't be able to control how many human beings are on the planet. And at some point, we need to go elsewhere because there'd be way too many trillions and trillions of people
We
to
could have
deal
a
with.
planet for each race.
Oh yes, and we can
There,
have the
racism solved.
transgender. We can have a transgender universe, and we can have whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I played with that myself. Yeah, awesome. So, and then cybernetics, I guess that's been around quite a bit,
Oh yeah.
where humans are becoming part robotics and part human.
Yeah.
Um, that's interesting, and it's like that's not something like Hollywood didn't show us, right? Because there's a whole bunch of movies where
Yeah.
that's around.
And of course,
So
they spice it up with superhero powers and stuff
yeah,
like
sure.
that.
Sure. And then so here's one that I haven't thought about that much, but the impact is interesting. Self-replicating robotics. So if you think about that for a moment,
I'm not going to go there.
and of course, did I tell you? I don't know if I have told you, but I certainly have talked about it on the network a few times. Not too many times, but a few times. And I still actually have my poems. When I was, I think, 15 or 16 years old, for about a year, and think about this, because I'm not a spring chicken here. When I was 15, none of this stuff was around. We didn't have these technologies, not in the public view. Maybe in a military sense we had some, but but not in the. We had no internet, we had no computers, we had no cell phones, we had none of the stuff. And I, for about a year, was writing about, somehow I got possessed. And I was writing about robots, and the end of humanity will be robotics, because they will take over the world, and they don't have a soul. And therefore it's the end of us. And I was writing about that for about a year, and I still have I brought it with me. That's one of the things I brought with me when I escaped from Hungary, and I still have it. It is in Hungarian. It would have to be translated, but it's kind of interesting. And I was going to school, and I was reading these poems to students, and everybody was kind of blown away. And then about a year later, it just all of a sudden, my creativity and whatever I was hooked into, it just stopped, and I didn't write anymore. It lasted about a year. So, but I think it's interesting that this happened so long ago when this stuff wasn't even around, and now I'm talking about self-replicate. I'm not even talking about robotics, as that's been around, but now I'm talking about self-replicate. And
that's cool.
Where that's going, it's weird. All right, so much for that. And then number 4 is molecular manufacturing, and that has to do obviously with nanotechnology. So that's crazy, okay? And have you followed that area at all, nanotechnology and nano factories?
I looked at it for a little bit. There was some even like nanosurgery, things like that. Like they were planning these little robotic nano-sized things that would go in and take out the cancer cells and things like, because they were the size of a cell, which is really small.
Yeah, right.
And that was when I was all into these all of the controversies. Like I studied pretty much all of them, and the idea that you're going to put something into somebody's body, that somebody is going to trust whoever's doing it absolutely fully to do exactly and only what they're saying, and not maybe implant something where, okay, now I can control the biology just with frequencies, because a frequency is the understanding or comprehension of frequencies is so massive to understanding all of this, because everything's a frequency. You get those two things and you ponder them for about a decade, you've pretty much got it. And that is, the two things is frequencies and thought. That's it.
Manipulating energy is basically.
Well, that's the thing. We're all doing it. And
already,
it's absolutely dependent upon us. And in everything that you've said in the listing of all of that, I heard a new feather. A new feather, a new feather. Not one of those is actually from within. Every solution is an outside thing, an outside somebody, an outside technology, a new thing, and it's all out there. It's still me being dependent on something else. Like The Matrix, that movie has so many mastery key secret things right there in your face. Like, if everybody wants to know the how-to, what do? You take that scene where Neo was in the construct with Morpheus just after the fight, in the fight when he said, "You think that's air you're breathing in here?" That is so massive, just to crack open your mentality.
Yeah.
You know, what is oxygen?
But what I'm trying to
hold on.
Yeah,
I'm getting to that point. The point is, the next scene was the building jump, and he gave him the secret right there in front of everyone who ever saw the movie. You got to let go of disbelief, and two other ones. But the point is, you have to work on your mentality, because you already know that's not air you're breathing in here. This is not two buildings that are 200 feet in the air. It's a construct. But your brain thinks it is. Your brain is thinking, how can I jump across this great big massive gulf between two buildings without killing myself? It's not even real.
Yeah.
So take that into everything you just listed.
But the connection I'm trying to make there, though,
yeah,
is that with all these technologies and advances, what I'm noticing and seeing is at some point, it's going to create people even questioning more and perhaps believing more that they can do anything.
Because of the feather.
Yeah, because of the feather.
Their total trust is in that external thing.
but it's driving them into a direction where, you know, it's one of those things that I never thought this was possible, but it is now. And so they may go, oh my God, maybe there is something in the notion that what's happening in my life is controlled by whatever I believe or don't believe or whatever, that I can create. I am the creator of all of it, and I can do whatever I want to do.
Yeah, but it was all because of that technology. That will always be in their mind. Yes, you are, but because of this.
Well, but does it matter what's the driver to get people to let go? Does it matter what creates that? What makes people think? What makes people question? Does it matter what it is?
It depends on the level of the game that you want to rise to. That's it. Okay, it's a new Jesus. It's a new church. It's a new pope. Nothing's new. It's still an external salvation. See, that's why I was really literally holding back a giggle when you were saying how it'll change this and that, because really at the core, changes nothing. Nothing at the core. Sure, it changes everything on the outside, but I could go get hair dye and I could change on the outside. You know, but the core is when you get that this isn't oxygen you're breathing in here. When you get that building is not 300 feet away and 500 feet off the ground. See, when you get the core, but you don't have to. Like, that's the thing. This is the game, and everybody is it. So I can giggle because of where my consciousness level is at. I'm not giggling at anyone. I'm giggling because I've been there.
So wait. I forgot to say something when we were talking about, what were we talking about? It just something just nudged me to go back to virtual reality, right? I want to say that what's happening with virtual reality, it is becoming more and more real. So there will be a point in time is that we won't be able to tell the difference, dude. What isn't real?
That's why I was just laughing. Even that statement, virtual is becoming real. Yeah. And what did I just say? You think that's oxygen? You think that building's over there? You think, like, we think this is real.
Mm-hmm.
We're absolutely convinced this is real.
This is real.
And that's why, for me, my answer about that, what does it matter if they're using this? Then you're thinking that is real. But nothing changed.
I wanted to say that I'm noticing that there is some collision. We're on some kind of a collision course. So now they're working on stuff and boy, I talked about this many years ago, that this is a possibility with technology. Is what's missing, like in a virtual game, what's missing right now is senses, but they're working on it. So they're working on creating sensory experiences in a virtual game, not just visual. What's happening right now is just visual and audio. But what about smell? What about touch? What about all those other things? They're working on it.
Yeah.
So this is nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't see a collision course anywhere here.
I see a collision course with the same old.
Hmm.
It's a prettier same old. It's a much more fun same old, but it doesn't go far enough down the rabbit hole.
Like what I'm seeing. So instead of people having their smartphone in their faces, walking on the street, running into poles, what they'll be doing and will be addicted to is plug into a virtual game and have whatever experience they want to have, because they don't have to deal with themselves. They can just go have sex.
Wow.
And it will feel good. It will look good, and you can have it with anybody you want to. I mean, oh my God, it's paradise.
I know this steak. The Matrix is telling me the steak is going to taste delicious.
Yes.
You remember that in the movie?
Yes, I do.
I know this is not real, but it feels good.
But it will feel good. It will taste good.
Do you know that you just brought everything right back around?
Yeah.
You were just talking about that addiction to all that.
Yeah.
And earlier, you were talking about how everybody's so addicted to this experience.
Yeah.
And they're all being distracted.
We're going to recreate it in games.
But there's another aspect of my answer to does it matter? We're all being distracted from themselves. Like the game, what is the game about? Know thyself. That's it. What is that self? What are you? And everything, if you dig far enough down the rabbit hole, everything is pointing at you are it. Literally, again, in the movie The Matrix, it literally said, you are the one. And where can we reference that from? The one that became the many. And that was talked about in the very first thing in our opposites game duality trap. The one contains the two. And if you look at not psychology, philosophy, that's the main theme of all creation. The one became the many, or the one split into two. Like it's the duality thing. But it's the one. You are that. You are experiencing that. You are the one. It was literally put right in our faces, and we didn't get it. Every single sentient thinking being, and others, but we're talking about those right now, is the one. It's amazing how this has been just shouted at us. And we're too busy distracted with our, like you said, smartphones and our next technology. And that's why the answer, that's why the answer, what I was saying about for me is the answer is to actually physically, literally take off. Go to the Himalayas, take nothing. Get away from every need, every external anything to know thyself.
Okay, so check this out. Okay, we gotta review the last three because we have plenty of time. So
Sure.
number three is mega scale engineering, which I don't get too excited about.
Oh, we missed three.
Yeah,
Sorry.
three is mega scale engineering.
Hmm.
It's no big deal to me. But the explanation is like, in for example, the Death Star would be an example of a mega scale engineering, creating something that's you
Planet
know
size.
planet size, yeah, so
Yeah.
that we'll be able to create that. So okay, big deal. But the last two that really like freaks me out is artificial intelligence and mind uploading and connecting the two. So the ability to take everything that's in our mind, all the data, and upload it to basically a robot,
Have you
basically recreating ourselves with artificial intelligence. That is weird.
have you ever Googled something
Yeah,
almost daily?
almost daily.
They save everything.
Mhm.
They
Yep.
have the planet's mind saved. They know you. They know everything
Yeah.
about
Oh
you,
yeah.
about your
Yeah.
interests. They know your schedule. They know the things
Yeah.
that you won't tell others you're Googling. Your mind is uploaded. It's
Yeah.
stored. If you go into like Google's privacy settings,
Mhm.
Google that, and then you'll find out how you can tweak them and all that, and just kind of look at it and everything. And it's really spooky how since they came out, they have saved everything, every search.
And even if you open a private window, it doesn't matter. It's not private for that from them. It's just private from somebody else looking at your browser.
Yeah,
It's not.
they
It's not
need to be
private. It's
involved.
not. It's not private from them. Everything is seen by them.
Yeah, they need to be involved.
Mm.
It's kind of like us being all funny about the Matrix, like the Matrix that we live in. It needs to be involved. Do you want the leg to move? Then it needs to be involved. It's so funny, and it is like we're looking for solutions. We are the solution. We're looking for secrets. We are the secret. We have been worshiping and looking for the one. We are that
I'm the
one.
one.
And we're so busy and distracted with all this stuff because it's fun. That's it. That's all.
Well, what most people are busy though with, this is interesting that you bring that up. What most people are busy doing is still surviving after all this time.
Yeah.
After thousands of years of surviving, we're still doing that game, surviving. In almost everybody's purpose, it still is, oh my God, I gotta make a living, I gotta make money, I gotta pay for the roof over my head, I gotta eat.
That's the opposites game.
This is the primary program,
Do you know
and
why? It's so silly simple.
well, it certainly keeps everybody very busy.
Yeah, but do you know what's at the core of that drive? We've talked about it, and the only way to really get it, comprehend it, in a way that we can understand it in our daily life is Ace Ventura, the pet detective. He never existed, ever. He was a role. He was a character that the actor was playing. So the main drive of a role, a character, is to exist because it doesn't. So, of course, that's what it wants. The poor want wealth. The wealthy want the freedom of the poor to not be, stabbed or robbed or be able to drive through the shady streets of, New York or Detroit and not be, whatever. Everybody wants the opposite of what they have.
Hmm.
And that's even the game. The most powerful one wants to be born in need of a diaper. And the character, the role, wants to exist because it doesn't. It's massively amazing how simple everything is when you just get the core things. That's it. You just get the core things. That's not oxygen you're breathing in here. So why do you need it? If it's not, why do you need it? It's, I know that most, I'm giggling a lot, and there's, most of the minds that will eventually see this on YouTube later or whatever, watching now, are thinking, okay, he's laughing a lot, and he sounds like he's absolutely freaking crazy. You're still listening or watching from this human perspective, all about human, all about existing, all about the game, all about the distractions, all about this being real. So you have no clue. There is a real that you just don't see. That's it. Your consciousness level is focused on this. Like it's like a microscope. I don't know if anybody's played with a microscope. You can, put some blood on a petri dish, put it under there, and you zoom in, and your focus, your perspective focus is set. It's set on this. But if you change the lens a little bit, you could see more and see more and see more and see more. You have to change the lens. Just change your zoom level. Stop focusing on just that. It's so simple. That's why it's so hard, because we can't believe it. It's too simple. We have a PhD for everything. We have a professional for everything, even master's degrees for math. 1 and 1 has always been 2.
Wow. So
yeah.
Well, I thought this top 10 things were somewhat entertaining, and
it was funny.
It's connected. It's connected back to the Sausage Party, because without the technology, a lot of the technology that we talked about, that movie couldn't have been made.
I absolutely love the title of that movie. It's like we're all a bunch of vegetables.
And condiments. Yes.
I'll be the horseradish.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So this is a good point to bring up, or a good time to bring up these points that I said I was working on myself. This whole course idea, and I'm still stuck on the first core issue that I brought up in the movie, in the show. I said, I'm going to just focus on one thing for a week. And as you can tell from watching this show, if you did, I'm still focused on it. This is not real. Whatever it is, construct, illusion, simulation, whatever. It's some sort of unreal real. And we do know that. Pick the word that you like, but really it's just, there is no matter as such, which just means as you think or as you have thought, it's not. That's even what that's even what I've just been saying about this whole character and everything. We look at the medical industry, we run for a solution. If we get this feeling, or like, oh my God, I think I'm having a heart attack or something like that, I must exist. We already know we don't. We know this. It's been scientifically proven. This, what we think is we or me or I or us or whatever, it's not what you think. It's not as such. So that's where I get to, well, I want an answer. That's why I'm somebody with some answers, I guess, because I was driven to, well, I want a damn answer. Don't give me that non-answer. I want an answer.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing that's coming to me. None of this really matters, really. I mean,
I know. And the closer you get to knowing, the closer you get to knowing that.
Yeah. So it's like, it doesn't matter. We're in this game, right? We're here. Mm-hmm. You and I are interacting. Other mm-hmm. people are doing their thing. Mm-hmm. We're all in the game, and there's really not what it is that we're trying to get people to get. There's nothing to get. It's just do whatever you do, and mm-hmm. Do what's next.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah, whatever you're inclined to. That's why I was saying the game is interactive. It is interacting with you always, and it is interacting with you with whatever you are inclined to, which is, dependent upon the player sort of idea. So if you want to zoom out your lens a little bit to see if there's an actual reel that's beyond this reel, you do that. And just leave everybody else alone who's walking into pools because they're staring at their phone. That's what they want to do. Do that.
Yeah.
And no one, not even you, needs your salvation. Your own whatever, your cause, that's another game. It's massive. It's a game filled with millions of games, and it's probably being played by a game filled with millions of games.
There's nothing to fix.
Nothing at all wrong. Nothing.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing to...
I better say something there, because a lot of people will say global warming and the world situation. We already talked about parallel universes. So if I am a soldier and I just, live, eat, and breathe and go to the bathroom war and dream it, then there has to be a parallel universe that facilitates that for me. It doesn't mean that you or I or she have to be on that one. There's parallel. There's a choice. Everybody has to be facilitated. Everyone. Because they are the one.
So, but do you think that we start getting ourselves into some trouble when we start trying to make meaning of things? Like, what does this mean? What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
but it doesn't mean anything.
I was even sort of doing that. I was kind of,
because you keep using that word meaning, and meaning gets me into a lot of trouble. I noticed because
you have a flavor on the word meaning. You have an opinion about it.
Well, it's not an opinion. I'm noticing that every time meaning comes up, my mind is looking for an answer.
But your meaning that you said is present earlier, and it maybe doesn't fit your category of meaning or your database, is have fun. That is a meaning. Experience fun. It is a meaning, but you might be thinking meaning as in purpose, the meaning I'm here, the purpose of life. But that is a purpose. Have fun. It is. It's my purpose at this moment is to have fun. I'll go to the ping pong table for 10 minutes, and that is my purpose at that 10 minutes.
Well, even if I'm doing something else, I'm having fun. I'm noticing that when I'm doing this, purpose. I'm doing this with you. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
This show is like generated completely from nothing, really.
Right.
Yeah. I told you in the last minute what the theme is going to be.
I thought that was neat.
We had no idea, and we never really do, and it doesn't matter. that it doesn't matter.
I didn't even know if you were talking about some porn movie. You know, look at the title.
Well, I actually was, because it's a highly sexual. Basically, I heard it referred to it as a whole bunch of vegetables having an orgy, is what the movie is. And that appeals to me.
Oh, funny.
Okay. So whatever. But wow.
Mm-hmm.
So what's interesting too is, though, when everybody's doing all this stuff, like I know you do a lot of looking and Googling on YouTube and watching all these things, and
Mm-hmm.
I've done it, and I don't know what the hell we're looking for. But different people have, just different experiences or opinions about whatever it is that they're experiencing, and I'm going like, so what? It's like, but I have mixed feelings, because when I saw this guy Zoltan Istvan, in some sense he made some sense, but then in others, like trying to take on this system of ours and registering. I mean, I couldn't register to anybody. I kind of learned that anybody could go register to be a president. Did you know that?
Oh, cool. That's on my bucket list tomorrow. No, I'm just
I couldn't do it because I wasn't born here. But as long as you were born in the
Oh,
United
come on.
States,
Obama wasn't either. No, I'm just joking.
well, but he pulled it off somehow.
Oh, yeah, paperwork.
Yeah.
Gotta have friends.
So yeah, in high places, you can do anything. You see, his proof. You can do anything you want to do.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what I'm babbling about, but it's like
I better say something there, because when you bring in the name like Obama, you can be looking at trouble on YouTube. So that's just one of those controversies I looked at. It's not proven.
Yeah.
It was thrown up there as what you would call a YouTube giggle, because you can YouTube the birth certificate. And I don't know. Like, I'm not saying I know, and I'm not saying he was or wasn't. It was a joke. Okay, and we're trying to stay out of trouble there.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So, guess what? The conscious hour is over. It's been over.
Good. We can be unconscious again.
We can be unconscious again, and we can do whatever we want, and we can make whatever meaning we want to make of anything, and that's it. What else is there?
I don't know if you knew that, but every show, I get off here and off the laptop, and I laugh at that last statement. The conscious hour is over. Your consciousness can stop now. It's okay. Get back to what you were doing.
Well, but I have a different perspective than you.
I know.
The conscious hour to me means that it's happened a lot faster than normally people experience an hour. That's what it means to me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And you making some other meaning, because your lens is different from mine.
Because everything's funny to me. I think that's pretty much apparent if you watch these shows. Everything's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's
funny. And whatever. All right. So here we are. We did it again. As always, it's really easy.
You pulled it off.
This is
Did
called.
We sound like we knew something.
This is called the No Effort YouTube show. We put no effort into this in terms of preparing,
planning, and scripting.
There's no preparation, planning, engineering.
No, none at all.
We're using YouTube's lovely technology. Google again. Here we go.
Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah. So that's it. Well, thanks, IM. This was awesome.
It was.
I had my IM fix for the week. I'll see you next Sunday.
Alrighty.
In Conscious Church.
Have fun. Play lots of ping pong.
I will.
Ping pong.
You can bet your life on it.
Good.
See you next time.
See ya.
Love you all. Bye.